Yo, what's up, my comic book friends? It's your boy J-Rock. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. Hopefully you hit that subscribe button and you tune back in for every new video that drops. This video is gonna be a little different. So I'm part of the Omnibus Cafe.
Wow.
Facebook. Shout out to the group. If you're already in it, then you already know what's up. If you're not and you're watching this video, the description down below, I'm gonna leave a link to the Omnibus Cafe Instagram page and to the Facebook group. Great group of guys there. It's a place to talk comic books, right? But the thing that makes this one a little different is most of the people there collect collected editions, meaning hardcovers, omnibuses, trade paperbacks. It's not a lot of single issues. There's some, but it's more about collected editions. So if you like collecting those types of books, buy, you could sell, you could trade. I always sell there, I always buy there. You get some good deals sometimes, and sometimes you're looking to unload a book and you could trade it for a book you're looking to buy, right? So go ahead and check out the group right there. Like I said, all that info will be in the description down below when this video drops. All right, this last year, meaning 2024, I think I did one video. I barely started getting back into the game, right? Because this whole year has been kind of hectic for me. I moved about 4 times. I moved to another state. So my books have been in storages, in garages. So there was no time to read, right? Or even really to buy books because I was moving back and forth and there was no money for that at the moment. So now I'm kind of sad. My books are back in the fucking house. They're not in a storage somewhere or in a garage. So now I got back into reading. I just recorded a video like last month. So I'm easing back into things, and I hadn't even been commenting on the group much, right? Because I've been away. So in this year, I know there's probably been a lot of new collectors that have joined the group. So there's gonna be a video to kind of get to know me, and I could get to know all the new peeps out there, right? So what you guys could do is, they sent me a few questions here. My boy Sal, he gave me a few questions to kind of get to know collector. I'm gonna read them and do them in the order that I find more interesting. And hopefully these same questions I'm answering, you could go ahead in the comment section, answer those same questions with your answers, right? Stuff like what's your favorite comic book, and put yours in the comment section. Or if you can even do even better, if you have a YouTube channel, we'll make this like a tag video. Go ahead and make a video answering the same questions. And if you do that, go ahead and tag me in the comment section so I can check out your video, because that's what I'm in this for, baby. To fucking get to know more collectors, chop it up, top comics. Let's get to this shit. Okay. How did you first get into comics? Let me know again your answers in the comment section. Me personally, my mom, I was raised by a single parent. My dad was in and out of the picture. And, money was tight. Money was comics. Back then they were a lot cheaper than they are now, but money was still tight. We couldn't just buy whatever we wanted. So we didn't have a Blockbuster membership card, and we didn't go renting movies for like $5 a movie, right? We used to go to the library. My mom took us to a library a lot, and we would, with the library card, you could rent movies, you could rent music, CDs, books, whatever, right? So that's what we went to go rent our movies. That's what we rented: The Lion King, Aladdin, all that bullshit. So back then, what happened is we used to go to this, all my people out there in the 1904, San Diego, where you at? Where you at? You all know what's up. A shout out to the city out there, National City. I grew up right there, and I went to Kimball Park. So that's what they used to take us all the time. That's kind of what molded me, you could say. So as a little kid, 5 years old, 4 or whatever, mom used to take us there, and they had comic books. They had a single issue comics. This was the 90s, like 92 or something, but the books were not new current books. There's stuff from like 88, 85, like they were older back issues. And since those were like thin books, they're single issues, you didn't really have to rent them. You could just grab them and sit down and read them right there, right? It wasn't a big chunky book. So while they're looking for the movies we were gonna take or whatever, I would grab the books. And the ones I really remember were Captain America. They were the first ones I really picked up and sat down and read. And by read, I meant flip through the pages and just look at the art. And it was during the US agent era, where it was the black suit. So that was my first introduction to comics. I wasn't familiar with the artist or writer. Now as an adult, I was like, I remember those books. That's kind of where it all got started. So I wanted to go back and read those. I started asking in the groups, like, who wrote those? So it turned out it was the Grunwell run. And I was like, bam, like that was what got me into the comics. And from that, the whole X-Men craze and comic craze just started blowing up. So then I got really into X-Men. Of course, I wasn't buying the new issues that came out. I was buying them as, once it's like a 6-month-old issue, it's not 50 cents. that's when I was picking them up, right? I wasn't spending $3 on a new issue. I was buying back issues with like $3, $4. I was like, I could buy like 6 back issues that are 50 cents, right? Like, I had to find ways to stretch that dollar, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I did. That was the route I took. So I was always like 6 months behind on the issues. Unless it was Spawn. Spawn had no back issues. He was a brand new character. So all his stuff was new and current. So you had to pay cover price. You had to pay those $2-3. But yeah, that's basically how I started for like a year or two during elementary. Once I got to like 4th grade, I got more into the arcade scene and video games and all that. And comics went to the wayside until I became an adult. Alright, here's another good one. What made you want to start a YouTube channel? Oh man, I had big dreams of making it big on YouTube and, you know, not having to work. Nah, I'm just fucking with you. Now, that was never the goal. I was never going to dedicate that type of time into it. Basically, what made me want to start a YouTube channel is I started getting back into wanting to collect comics as an adult, right? Because my grandma started getting up there in age, guys, and there's a lot of things she couldn't do for herself. Couldn't cook, couldn't walk to the bathroom no more, shower. So she wanted me to kind of like, if I could take care of her. I was living up in San Diego. She was living up in LA. So she was talking to my mom like, hey, you know, it'd be good if you went to take care of her a few years. You know, it's your grandma. She's getting older. Nobody else wants to do it because it's going to be a time-consuming thing. And I thought about it and I was like, okay. So I went to take care of her and I'm with her all day. I had to take her everywhere with me, right? She couldn't be left alone because she was at that age where you just couldn't leave her alone no more. And I would get bored at the house just being with her 24/7. So I started getting into buying comics again. And it was a bit of a nostalgia kick because she would talk a lot about my childhood. So then I started remembering things like, yeah, I played with X-Men toys. Well, yeah, I remember the comic books. And then it's snowball effect from there, right? So that got me to start buying the books. But I wanted people to talk about the comic books way. And none of the people I knew, I rarely saw them anymore because they wanted to go out and do things and I just couldn't. So there's things I couldn't do anymore. And so we kind of lost contact with a lot of my friends and then they went into comic books, right? So I started a YouTube channel. I was like, you know what, I just did a video, talked about the books I picked up that day. It was single issues at that time. And I got a lot of positive feedback. A lot of people were commenting, oh, that's a great book or this and that. And I was like, yeah, I just barely started buying comics. And like people were eager to kind of let me know what websites to check out, what are the good storylines going on and so forth. So I was buying the current stuff, right? And people were eager to like show off their knowledge basically, right? There's a lot of, you know, like how they say the comic book nerds or just nerds in general where they nerd out and they're eager to show people they know more. And since I was a newbie, I wanted to learn like what they were, you know, where can I buy them for cheap? Where are the discounts and whatnot? So it was really positive, and that's what I made the video for, was to basically interact with other people that are also reading comics and we could talk about the comics. So I could have somebody to talk about my hobby with. That's what the channel was about, and it was a big success. Like I was getting a lot of traffic in there. I had few subscribers, but I was getting a lot of views and a lot of people were commenting and it was interactive, which is what I want the channel to be. Right now that I'm back into it, it's meant to be to know people, interact, talk comics and so forth. And it was really good. Once I did the omnibuses and collector editions, a lot of those single issue collectors, they started commenting less and less because they're like, oh, you're talking about the old books, and they're talking about new current stuff that's coming out, and I'm buying omnibuses about storylines from 20 years ago, right? So that to them is like they already been there, done that, but they're still somewhat new and fresh to me. So yeah, that's what happened with the YouTube channel. And next question here says, what book are you most looking forward to that's being released this year? So we're talking hardcovers, omnibuses. We're not talking single issues here. You know what? That's one question I definitely want everybody in the comment section. Let me know what is a book you're stoked for at the end of this year, or that's coming out this year. For me, that's a really great question because so much stuff coming out from here to the end of the year. I'm just like overwhelmed by it. Whew, I don't know. That's a tough question. I'm excited for X-Men Extinction Agenda Omnibus, but I'm also excited for Wolverine, Death of Wolverine Omnibus. Whew, man. I don't know, if I narrow it down, I'm thinking it's like maybe one of those two. But then again, the Birthright hardcover is coming out. I don't know if it's a complete collection. I'm thinking it's going to be broken down into 2 volumes of 25 issues each. That one I'm really stoked for. Like, you guys got to check that book out. It's really well written. It's awesome. I haven't read the whole run because I read about issue 20 maybe, or 15, 16, somewhere around there, and I stopped and I said, you know what? They're gonna make a hardcover of this. I'm waiting for the hardcovers. They never came, and it's like 10 years and shit, right? And now they're finally announced. I'm like, whoa, shit. So that might be maybe the number one, just because at this point I didn't think they were gonna ever come out, right? So that might be the one I'm most excited for. If you guys are still here, I'd like to thank you guys for sticking around, man. You know, you're the real ones. Go ahead and hit that like button. Show your boy some support. Love y'all. Again, if you have a YouTube channel, let me know about it so I could check your channel out as well. That's what it's about, man. We gotta support each other, interact with each other's videos and whatnot, right? That's the whole point of building a community, is to interact. Next question says, your favorite book in your collection. I think that's kind of easy for me to narrow it down. Okay, as far as favorite actual books, I think it's gonna be these Tomb Raider ones. Very hard to come by. You're probably never gonna see them reprinted again. Great Michael Turner art. Love his art. Love the character of Tomb Raider as well. Enjoy the video games. So it's all around just a win, you know. So you're walking away with a big W on that one. If it wasn't those, and even if I was gonna have them custom bound before, but to custom bound that run, the last 10 issues or so are very hard to find, and they're very expensive, the single issues. And if you buy these hardcover books, they're also very expensive. So it's between that, I think it's this. But second place would be over here, these Rye books. Michael Crane's art, especially this first volume, awesome read. This one's still good too. This is basically the volume 2. So these two are awesome. I can't wait till they make an omnibus like these of the old school classic stuff of Rye. See here I have Shadow Man and then his 3 current books. Have Ninjak old school and then his 3 current books. Same here. So here we're missing, I have the third one as well, but we're missing the omnibus of Shadow Man. So I think it definitely would be between one of those two. Excuse all this mess right here. I have a mess right now. I have to clean all this shit up. All right, this was a great time. I had a fun, really, like, answering these questions. It was really fun for me. I kind of wanted to get more in depth on some of these questions and whatnot with the answers, but I didn't want the video to run too long, because I don't want you guys to be like, oh, 30 minutes or whatever and not tune in, right? So let me know what's the sweet spot as far as minutes for you. I usually try to keep it in between 15 and 20 minutes. Try not to go more than 20. But yeah, let me know if you guys like long format, short format, you know, so that way I know what I'm working with here. Guys, one last thing I forgot to mention, you know, hopefully my boy Sal will join me on some live streams, so we can start doing at least like one live stream a month or something, talk about comics, interact with the audience and all that great stuff, right? We'll see if we make that happen, or maybe talk about you know, like a book club. We'll review a book and we'll talk about it on the stream and whatnot. So stay tuned for that. That's something in the works that might happen. We'll see if our schedules could, you know, work with each other. Because he's on the East Coast, I'm out West, y'all. You know what's up? So the time is kind of an issue. Other than that, guys, hey, man, thanks for checking out this video. And I'll check you guys out next time.